What's going on? I wanted to make a video of what fatigue feels like, adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue syndrome, and I'll also go over how to heal it. I'm still in it. And for the most part, to me, people will say you're crazy, definitely, when you try to tell them how you feel, especially because there's stages to it, stage 1, 2, and 3, or however you want to classify it, but there are stages to it, levels to it. A lot of people will call you crazy for it when you try to explain to them how you feel, and no one, if they haven't experienced it, then they'll never know. That's the hardest part. So like, even, I mean, you could definitely talk to people about it and be around people you love, that'll make you feel better. But if it's still going on and still a problem, then it needs to be fixed. Going to a therapist or psychotherapy, all this other stuff, you're not really attacking the underlying problem, the root of the problem. So I'll just say, like, it is good to distract yourself, but when you're in such deep stages of it, it's kind of really hard to do that. But I guess it's all depends on the person. It varies on levels, but definitely if how deep you're into it, it will not be. It would be hard to distract from it because it's always going to be there. And so I'll just go over like one of the things that you feel is like you feel disconnected from your body. Some call it depersonalization. It kind of just feels like you're high all the time. Me, it just feels like I can't feel my neck, which is kind of like your adrenals and exhaustion. They link to the thyroid, so usually your adrenals go down and then your thyroid will go down, like completely. So like my neck's pretty much, so I can't feel like anything below it basically. It's like numb, and you always feel disconnected and high, and then your universe would just seem like rocky, like just standing still, but it would just seem like you're a floating head basically, like a ghoul, or just basically like a spirit. And you could think you're high, this is euphoria, it's a spiritual awakening. I heard like some people it only happens for like, you know, maybe minutes, hours, days, weeks, but me it's been 2 years basically. And I guess it like I said, there is levels to it, and when you have general fatigue, it's just kind of like you get tired at certain times of the day, and it's always the same hour of the day basically. And I'll just go over like the symptoms that I had throughout my whole life of just general fatigue, and most of it, there is external factors in the way you handle the stress and your environment and what you do, your lifestyle, but that's external factors. But to me, the number one would be, I mean, it's diet. There's no question about it. Everyone's scared and twitchy and irritable and fear mongering and all those things. Like, you could just go on depression, anxiety. It's all because of the diet. It really is. Like, it's the number one thing. I don't care what anybody says. It's definitely the number one thing. Like, there's no doubt about it. And so throughout my life, I would always basically, primarily in school, because that's where I was when I was younger in school, and I would always eat like lunch, and I would go straight to sleep like immediately, like right after. And then there were times like later on in life where at nighttime I'd eat and I'd go straight to sleep. It's always the same thing. And some other symptoms would be like you can never feel like you can stop and just like appreciate life and be in the moment. You always feel like you have to walk, or always feel like you have to rush, and you just can't like just be walking and stop. Just like your body just won't do it. It's like you're like struggling and pushing to get to the next situation or event, whatever you're gonna do basically, and you just always feel exhausted mentally, but of course physically, because it all starts physically. It has to start physically. It's impossible to almost be tired mentally without it. Can happen, but it's more likely that you're tired physically, and you're just gonna feel tired all the time. You're probably not gonna sleep well at some degree. Insomnia when you just can't go to sleep when you'd like to. But to me, I feel like you have to have an active day. I don't like going to the only time that I truly like going to sleep is during the nighttime. But that being said, I don't necessarily like sleep. It's not that I hate it, but I think it's way overrated, and I don't think it's needed necessarily. It's not that I don't think it's needed. I think it's just overrated and everything about it. Because if you're living a healthy lifestyle, you're gonna basically sleep less. But anyways, there's only a few times in my life I've gotten to this point where I was physically tired and drained in a way, and like when I went to go to sleep, I would just go to sleep. I just felt like it's kind of hard to explain, but it felt good. It wasn't like, oh, I'm tired, but I can't go to sleep. You're gonna get that a lot. These people are always doing some shit in this field. But you get that a lot when you have this, like you're tired and kind of wired at the same time, and you try to go to sleep but you can't. It's like the worst thing. Some other things would be feeling like your body's in shock. It's the same thing with the restless leg syndrome. You always feel like you got to be kind of like moving. You can't really sit still. And just having all these other emotions, anxiety, depression, yada yada yada. Just feeling like you're not in control basically. And then on the severe cases, like I said, you feel like you're a walking head. You feel like you're floating and stuff like that. How are you, Valerie? Great. Film a video.
Okay.
Of course, there's other miniature symptoms when it comes to this, but I'm tackling the bigger ones. And other ways to identify you always feel like you're hungry. And nothing you eat ever satisfies you. That means you need to eat more, and you're not eating the right foods either. Carbohydrates, if you can tolerate them, that's fine. But if you get shaky and your nervous system's messed up, then I wouldn't even eat any carbohydrates. And what I recommend out of anything is raw meat. I know if you ever watch any of my other videos, I've been saying this pretty much all the time, because there's just a straight connection. And carbohydrates and sugar are basically toxic to the body. All sugar is the same, whether it's coming straight from the white sugar, straight from an apple, fruit sugar, or straight maple syrup or honey. It's all the same sugar, and trust me, someone who has, I guess you could say, sugar problems, because I feel it. There's no diagnosis on it or anything, but I diagnose myself, and I know every time that I eat sugar, I just feel like I can't calm down, basically, like just irritated to the maximum, and I just don't feel comfortable. And it's not that I feel worried or anxiety though, but I do feel that, but not when I immediately eat sugar, my body just freaking shakes, and that's bullshit. that my body does it or whatever, but it happens. So that I wanted to do this somewhere, sit down, sorry. But so basically the gist of it is to eat raw meat or at least stay away from carbohydrates. Whatever food that you want to eat, you should feel happy and amazing after you eat it. If the food doesn't feel like that when you eat it, then you're not eating good food. That's straight up it. I mean, of course, all the time you might not eat the food you want or get to have, but you should. That's the thing, like, they lie to us all our lives. I could sit down and cry about this and talk about this forever, but I'm not going to. They lie to you. Every time you eat, every time I eat my whole entire life, I've never felt energy. Never. I've never, ever felt energy from anything I've ate, ever. Like, and I'm being so sincere and so real about that. There might be like 15-20 minutes of spurts of energy, but I've never eaten food and gotten energy. And I'm just being real and being completely honest. My whole life it's been like that. I've been starving my whole life. It's crazy to think about, but it's experience, you know. And like I said, no, if you never experienced any of this, then you would have no clue. You might be able to sympathize, but that's on a whole nother level. Not till you experience it when you're completely disconnected. And that was another thing too. I was always hungry all the time, my whole entire life. So that's pretty much what I want to discuss. Whatever food you eat should make you feel amazing, and you should want to go do amazing things. You shouldn't have this fear and all these things attacking you, all these negative aspects and stuff. It's always the body and what you eat. And most people are full of shit and that you've been lied to most of your life. Pretty much about everything, but especially food. Food's number one because you eat it every fucking day. And people don't understand why they feel fear. You don't just feel fear. Something actually has to physically, in the physical realm, make you fucking fear. You know what I mean? Like, scare you. And even then, it's not that present. It's just in the moment. If you're having all this other anxiety and stuff, it's because pretty much you're probably eating sugar or just some bullshit you shouldn't be eating. You should feel amazing. I've never in my life ate a banana and felt amazing. Like, when I eat raw meat, this is why I'm just suggesting it and telling you what to do. When I eat that, I feel amazing, and I feel like that's the food compatible for me. I mean, I guess someone could eat a banana and feel amazing off it, but I could argue to disagree, because that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, if it does make you feel amazing, then hey, I mean, go for it. But I don't see that. I don't even see anybody really eating fruits anyway, for that matter. So yeah, really look into the food you're doing and just the stress in the environment you're in, because that's really going to play a role in how you feel. And you should be doing what really makes you happy and what you really want to do at the end of the day, because a lot of people don't, and a lot of people are confused and always get distracted and not letting themselves do what they actually want or what they came here to do. And you know, a lot of people are full of shit. Life's supposed to be easy and simple, and if you wonder why it's not easy and simple, I mean, the government and the economy is one side, but also your diet's just a whole nother. It's probably the main one, then the government and society and the way it is. So I'll just do a quick wrap up. Again, what you should eat: raw meat, just all raw foods in general, if you want to heal and be normal. Because if you're supposed to feel high and euphoric all the time, and it's bullshit. People say you can do like this meditation shit and deep breathing, and yeah, that's and to be self-aware and see what's going on. That's a whole nother. You can get there, whatever, but you have to be happy before that. That's a bunch of bullshit. If you think doing deep breathing exercises is gonna make you feel better when you're fucking starving, that's not gonna happen. Some people don't even know they're starving, and So it'd be all raw foods for, you know, a diet perspective. And some symptoms, I'll go over them again. Shakiness, not being able to stop, having any negative emotion, pretty much. Anxiety, unhappiness, fearful, just creating things that aren't in there, always trying to fix your back, just not feeling good. It's hard to say that though, because you have to feel good to actually know what it feels like. When you feel like shit all the time, you never know what it feels like, and you kind of become numb to it, and you adapt to it and adjust, and that becomes you. But it's not how you're supposed to feel. If you don't feel good, there is a problem, and especially from the food perspective. And then third would be environmental stress, your family disagreeing with you, not liking what you do, people aren't supporting you, people hating on you, maybe social media, you know, external factors such as noise pollution, radiation, you know, the Wi-Fi, and just not in a natural environment or a unhealthy environment, not connected to nature. So yeah, that's all I wanted to go over. I tried to do my best. I don't know, not fully recovered myself. Definitely not, you know what I mean? Yeah, and some of the stuff that you inherit too from your mom, they could be filled with poisons and toxins. And I'm talking about the birthing, because there is another aspect of them raising you and how they raised you. That's on a whole different aspect. Mostly, a lot of people are fucked though, just being honest when it comes to that. Just from birth, a C-section, vaccines, toxins. But then when you come in their diet that they fed you, did they breastfeed you, or did they give you a fucking made up soy formula that killed you? That's pretty much it. And what kind of state of and how they raised you. Did they raise you with love? Did they support you? Did they care for you? And again, but it all pretty much is symmetrical and symmetry, because it fits you. Like, it just all goes hand in hand. Like, it's not like, I mean, they may find out after, but usually if they're you got a C-section, they gave you vaccines and didn't breastfeed you, then they're gonna feed you shit the whole time too, you know what I mean? And that's all I would like to say about that. So let me know how you feel. Subscribe, check out some other videos, give me a like, let me know if you have any video requests. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm gonna keep updates on how I feel about the chronic fatigue syndrome. I've had it, adrenal exhaustion all my life. Now it's chronic fatigue. And I guess another thing would be just to say, like, don't stress yourself too much, even though that's kind of hard when you feel it all the time. But I mean, don't do like vigorous workouts. If you feel yourself like getting to that stage where you feel really disconnected and really out of it, just take a complete break and get off like drugs and pharmaceutical medicine for sure, because that's not going to help you. And especially, like, I know some people felt this way from maybe smoking weed. I mean, it could be any drug really, but it just taxing on the body and stresses you out. And if you eat the correct diet, you won't even want to drink or smoke anymore, and you'll feel amazing. You'll feel better than you have off of that. And it won't, especially if you start to feel like that. Because I remember when I was younger, I smoked weed and I did feel like disconnected from my body, but it was only kind of like when I was high, and it was like, it's kind of cool, but it was kind of funny, and yeah, yada yada yada, and it was kind of euphoric when I smoked. And when I first started smoking, it just felt disconnected from my body. But now it's like that it would just heal like whenever the high died. But then I woke up one day, 2 years back basically, and felt disconnected from my whole body. And I was like, okay, you know, it's gonna go away, but it never did. And people say, you know, you get depersonalization. I don't know, there's so many depersonalization, there's so many of them, I don't remember them off the top of my head, and my head's not even clicking completely anyway. But you have brain fog too, that's another thing, kind of obvious. And poor circulation from your feet, you know, tingling, numbness. And like I've had all this all my life, to different degrees, more so recently and more so when I was vegan. So yeah, I'm going to keep updates on this, and help people become aware, because it does creep up on you in the weirdest ways, and you, especially when you're young and you're not unaware of things, and some people just don't know at all. So you can take more caution and see the symptoms coming on. So thanks for tuning into the video.